Hey, everybody, it's Eddie from Tokyo. This is your cryptocurrency update from Japan. We have some water cooler talks. So the Business Insider tells us that JP Morgan just handed its CFO a new role, and it could be a sign she's a candidate to replace Jamie Dimon. So who are we looking at here? This is Marion Lake. She has been a CFO at JP Morgan since 2013. She's 49 years old. She first got her start in her career at the PricewaterhouseCoopers firm, but now she's going to, for the first time, run her own business section, and she'll be in charge of lending and not report to Dimon anymore. So this is usually required to become CEO. So the rumor is flying. And my favorite writer, Siamak Masnavi, wrote a very fun article today about Vitalik Buterin, and he tried to become an intern at Ripple back in the day. The day was mid-2013. It was learned in a tweet sent to Brian Armstrong, the co-founder and CEO of Coinbase. Vitalik was in Canada at the time, and he needed a special working visa that a company could provide through a sponsorship. And at that time, he wanted to go to California and work for Ripple. But the law is set that the company needs to be at least 1 year old in terms of having operations. And Ripple at that time, unfortunately, was just 9 months old. So he was not able to get that special visa. And the link that Mr. Masnavi put in this article was so interesting. Vitalik actually co-founded the online Bitcoin magazine, and he wrote an article about Ripple back in 2013, and it really shows us how far we have come in just those short 6 years. So Bitcoin magazine was one of the first to cover the space, and when he wrote the article about Ripple, it was very glowing, actually, talking about its low fees and how the only one Ripple client wallet available on Ripple.com was so easy to use. There was an initial deposit required at that time of 50 XRP as opposed to the 20 XRP that we have now. And Bitcoin was just trading for $39.95. Unbelievable. And XRP really had no clear market price at that time. So we always kind of complain, or I hear a lot of complaints about how slow things are moving. But I tell you, when you look back just from 2013, this space has really changed enormously. And in October, this is an interesting story because it's developing and it seems to really be picking up some speed. Ripple's Chris Larsen invested in this company called Elixxir. Now, Elixxir is able to process hundreds of thousands of quantum-resistant transactions with a tiny, tiny bit of energy. If you are interested in this project, I'm going to suggest you go to the Twitter website because there is an enormous amount of information, especially since the founder and inventor of this technology, David Chaum, has been traveling the world literally giving keynotes, and a lot of these talks are up on the Twitter website on his feed through links. So he's been to London and Zurich, Lisbon, Hong Kong, Prague, Seoul, Miami, Macau, Las Vegas, Tokyo, Berlin, Beijing, Tel Aviv, Shanghai, Vienna, San Francisco, Singapore, and France, just to name a few. I have spent a lot of hours and have done a lot of research on this project. The more I research, the more I'm interested, and the more I really realize that privacy is going to be the next big thing. And so when you talk about this technology, it's done a little differently. It's done through a team of nodes that produce each block. Okay, and the set of nodes are selected randomly, and it protects the metadata. So it shuffles it into a batch and sends it through to the next team member. So there's no link from the sender to the recipient, which gives it unprecedented speed, unprecedented privacy, and it is able to scale for the global consumer. So I think that this multi-sig control, which involves a multi-party computation, is most interesting since it runs off-chain. And it really has a lot to do with the story that's going to follow this one. But since January, and then up until the deadline date, which was Friday, people could apply to run a beta node. And I did so. I put in the survey application, I don't know, about a month ago. It was, if I remember, it had 36 questions. It took quite a bit of time and some, I think, careful response and reply if you were serious to run a node. And I don't know, because as of April 15th, you can see here that more than 500 applications had been received, and there was a lot of people who probably put in a last-minute application from the 15th to the 19th. The majority of people who applied to run one of those beta nodes, you can see here, comes from North America, 37%, and then Europe was 36%, and then Russia, look how big Russia was, 16%. That's really interesting. And here is Tokyo, right here. And it's not the smallest dot on the map, so I think there were a few other people other than myself to put in an application. But yeah, we'll just have to wait and see. This, though, is, I think, going to be a very interesting future part of the ecospace. And this leads me into this next story, which is Xpring. Now, everybody knows that Xpring is the incubator for Ripple, and they have been very busy in the last 2 months. Yeah, February, March, April. So the first investment that they gave to the company that we know about was with the XRPL Labs. That's Weezy Wynn's group, and he is the, of course, inventor of the XRP tip bot. And now his team isn't wasting any time. They're doing they have done a lot of really great stuff, even since they received their first initial round. But then on February 28th, Xpring gave some money to the Kava Labs, and then they were also again the lead investor with Compound Labs. They are a mobile app company. That took place on April 10th, and now April 17th we learn that they have participated with 9 other investors with a very small angel round or seed round of $1,500,000. The lead investor in this project was Decrypt Capital, and it's again, related to privacy. So when I take you to this article, which is by the Crypto Ninjas, it really does a good job kind of summing up what they are doing. So Ripple's XRP incubator invests in private payment channel solution from Bolt Labs. And Bolt Labs is a project that's building payment channel implementations using zero knowledge proof blind signatures and commitments. So their solution aims to bring scalability not only to privacy chain cryptocurrencies, okay, but also to existing public chains where privacy is not a default capability. So you can very well see that this also can be available to a public ledger like Ripple's DLT. So it's inspired by the need for privacy in Bitcoin's Lightning Network, and the academic team, which received a grant from the Zcash Foundation, is launching a private fast payment channel for any cryptocurrency. And you can see that Bolt enables payment channels that hold funds in escrow until one or more parties are ready to cash out, and the payments within these channels are off-chain and unlimited. Very similar to Elixxir that, involves the multi-party computation and runs off-chain. And this one runs off-chain and is unlimited, and the users remain anonymous. Bolt's privacy protections rely on zero-knowledge proofs based on the research of the leading scientists and cryptographers. Now, you really want to take a look at the team. These are the leading scientists. So the CEO and co-founder, Ayo Akinyele, he has his PhD from Johns Hopkins. And the other co-founder here, Colleen Swanson, she has her PhD from the University of Waterloo. And then there's Gabe Kapchuk, and he is in the middle of getting his PhD at Johns Hopkins as well. What an amazing team. I love it. I love it. Okay, so everybody, I think privacy is going to be a big part of the future in the ecosphere of cryptocurrency. All right, so we're going to jump to the fluff, and I'm sticking with privacy. So here, actually, I want to go to this picture first. In Japan, there are a lot of restaurants, especially in Tokyo, Kyoto, Osaka, that have private dining rooms. And these will be behind a door that allows the diners to do it without having their conversations overheard, or also, too, not being seen at times, because there are even restaurants that are completely private. And when I mean completely private, I mean there is even a separate entrance to get in. So there'll be a passcode given to you, and you arrive at the back door and enter your passcode and get into your room. So you never have to walk through the restaurant at all. And I think this is done for a lot of people who are trying to, Japanese don't entertain in their home. So I know Americans very often will entertain in their home, but that is not done hardly at all. I can tell you that, there's never a never, but for the most part, almost never done. It's always done in a hotel or a restaurant. And these places are private and designed for those business deals to take place. And also, which is kind of interesting in looking at privacy in Japan, I want to take you back to the Edo period. This is actually a woodblock print by the wonderful artist Hokusai. It was done in 1800, and it is of a ninja, which sometimes is called shinobi. And shinobi means stealth. It's another word for ninja. And there was a secret ninja alphabet, an encryption, an encoding, a special way for those covert agents who were doing a lot of espionage, infiltration, sometimes sabotage, and very often they delivered messages. And that message would be written in a special encrypted ninja alphabet. And it was called Shinobi Iroha. And I want to show you what that looks like here. Here is an example of one of many. So you have to understand that it would be difficult to decipher, because only the ninjas from the same group could understand. So each group of ninjas would have their own unique language or alphabet. And they would carry it in their hat or maybe in the collar. If it was really, really important, they would disguise it inside an eggshell or a walnut. And if it was really, really, really secret, the message would be divided into 2 or 3 parts, and then all 3 ninja would have to deliver in order for the message to be put together and deciphered. So here you have, let me just show you how it works, because this probably doesn't mean anything to you, but if I explain briefly, I think you'll understand. So this kanji character, it means person. So it's nin. And if you then take this color here, these are colors across here. This is shiro, which is white. And if I combine those two, the kanji nin, this is the radical, which means it's when you combine one kanji with another kanji, it changes and it appears kind of in a shortened, abbreviated version. So this is the abbreviated version for nin. This is shiro, and it has the phonetical sound e, just like in my name, Eddie. So this is e. And so you can see that using this unique kanji, which doesn't mean anything unless you have a way to decipher it, they could then, through phonetical sound, create the message. So I think that shows you that even back in the Edo period, privacy was important like it's important today. So there you have it. Take care, everybody. Sayonara for now. Bye-bye.